Hello friends, welcome back. I've been seeing many videos of my favorite homesteading YouTubers making yogurt at home with their excess milk. It piqued my interest, so I took a deep dive and researched for days on how I can make my own homemade yogurt. Here's a video on the hurdles I had to jump over to make it happen, and what I did for success. Yogurt making was something I was not taught about in culinary school. We knew that it could be eaten as is. We learned all the functional uses, such as marinades, salad dressings, frozen for desserts, used in baked goods, and many more applications. It's also a customary ingredient in Middle Eastern cuisine. Yogurt is made by inoculating milk with good bacterial strains. That begins the fermentation, which creates a thick, tart, custard-like product. One of the good bacteria is the live culture Lactobacillus bulgaricus. In school, we learned how to make mozzarella, ricotta, creme fraiche, and even butter. Essentially, we were taught to purchase yogurt. The books for culinary school and the CIA book do not have recipes on how to make yogurt. I also took a deep dive in all of my cookbooks and found no recipes on how to make yogurt from scratch. When I was researching how I can make yogurt, I came across a few different methods. The first method that looked the simplest was using an Instapot. I thought, oh great, I have an Instapot. Turns out I don't have the Instapot with the yogurt button. So I did more research, and there were a few instruction videos that said that you can use your Instapot to heat the milk up, and once it's back down to 110, you can wrap a towel around it. I didn't like this method. I wasn't sure wrapping it with a towel would keep it a consistent temperature. I didn't want to make anyone sick, so I passed on this method. The next method I saw was using an oven light. I actually seen someone make yogurt like this years ago. The unfortunate thing was that our oven light just stopped working a few days ago, so that was not a viable option. I noticed the oven had a button on it that said proof. I thought, oh, I could use that. I started testing out the buttons, and there was no way to control the temp, so I struck out again. Another method I could have taken was a dehydrator. I thought this could be my backup plan if this last option didn't work. The last option was an idea I saw in someone's video where they were trying to reduce the dishes while making homemade yogurt. They put their yogurt in covered mason jars into their Instapot with some water with their fancy yogurt button. They were essentially using the sous vide method. So I pulled out my circulator, filled up a tank, and started experimenting. I started off with a sauce pot. I poured in half a gallon of milk and started to heat it. I found that some people bring their milk to a boil and some people just bring it to 180 degrees. I guess I'm team 180 because I didn't think that, in this case, boiling was really necessary. When coming to the decision of going only to 180, I thought logically, it's like I'm pasteurizing the store-bought pasteurized milk. Bringing the milk up to boiling, or 180 degrees in my case, will eliminate the bacteria that would compete with the yogurt cultures added in later. I kept an eye on it, whisked it constantly. In one video, they said whisking and agitating the milk helps the fat in the milk to break up and homogenize, which makes it a smoother and creamier yogurt. It also said it would give me a more uniform product that would hopefully have less separation. If that is true or not, I still stood over it and whisked it. I kept the temperature at 180 degrees for 5 to 6 minutes. Once the heating was done, I let it cool down to 110 before I whisked in the store-bought yogurt. Everyone seems to be in an agreement when they add their culture. They don't add the cultures until the milk is down to 110 to 115 degrees. If you add your starter yogurt before it has cooled, it will eliminate the live cultures. I've been adding about 4 ounces of store-bought, unsweetened, unflavored, whole milk Greek yogurt per half gallon. I found that you can order cultures online, but using yogurt is the consensus. That is where the infinite yogurt glitch comes from. I've seen some people say to keep their yogurt going, to do it every 7 to 10 days. Until I do more research, I'll just keep buying the small containers of Greek yogurt and start fresh until I feel comfortable using the yogurt that I've made as the starter cultures. Later in my research, I found a good formula for yogurt. The ratio was 2% of starter yogurt or cultures to the milk. And in my recipe that I did was 4 ounces to a half a gallon. So it's well within that range. The next step is fermentation and incubation. I have the circulator set to 110. I currently don't have a food saver or a vac sealer, so I thought I could just cover up the sauce pot, balance it in the tank. Doing this actually reduces the plastic waste that I'm using and also creates less dishes because I'm using the same pot. Once the pot of yogurt is in the tank, I set a timer for 12 hours. Once it's done, I strain the yogurt to get out any of the lumps or any of the milk that's been scalded. I put the yogurt into reused yogurt containers. Currently, 1 quart of yogurt can cost up to $5. 1 gallon of milk is less than $5. And then you can add in 1 small container of Greek yogurt that's roughly $1.50 to $2. You potentially get 4 times as much yogurt for the same price. The most time-consuming thing in this recipe is that it takes a few minutes to heat the milk up and set up the fermentation and incubation spot. You can also save time by skipping the straining. It'll just not be as smooth and may have pieces of scalded milk in it. I think you can get away with the not straining if you're going to use it for smoothies or if texture isn't a problem for you. If you feel like you can spend a little more time, you can strain some of the liquid out of the yogurt and get Greek yogurt. I haven't done that process yet. When I have more experience in yogurt making, I'll make another video on how to make Greek yogurt and perhaps a few other yogurt type recipes. One of the ways you can use your homemade yogurt recipe is you can blend up some fruit and mix that into yogurt for a cheap drinkable yogurt. I've seen small 4.5 ounce bottles of drinkable yogurt go for $2. I find that is a little bit excessive for a small grab and go beverage. Comment down below what your favorite recipe is to make with yogurt. Now that I've made it a few times in the circulator, I will continue to make the yogurt at home. Subscribe if this video has helped you out or has given you some new information on homemade yogurt. As we come to the end of this video, I want to show you how much of the milk has been scalded at the bottom of the strainer and how silky smooth the yogurt came out. Thanks for coming along for this wild ride. I hope to see you next time.